Hi there. Just making a quick video today on a piece of software that I use within my production workflow. Recently, a friend of mine went for a virtual audition, and as part of the audition, he was asked in advance to perform over one of the band's previously recorded songs. When he received this song, the song had drums in it already, and it was a fully mixed song, so he asked the artist if they had a song that had the drums stripped out for him to perform over, and they said no, they did not. So I was talking to him about this, and I mentioned, I could actually remove all of those drums from that song if you would like me to. He said, "What? How could you do that? That's a lot of effort." I said, "Actually, I can do this probably in about 5 minutes if you give me 5 minutes." So I kept him on the call and I went away. He sent me the track, and I would like to show you how I managed to remove all the drums from this track. So I've went onto the Cambridge Music Technologies website, and I've taken two random songs, not really random, but two songs with drums in them. Izotope's RX8. And this plugin is fantastic. I use it all the time when I'm producing tracks. Typically at both ends of the process. When I receive stems, I take them in here and I ameliorate them. Often when people are recording, especially during the pandemic at the moment with COVID, they're recording at home on equipment, there's likely to be room reverberations, clicks on their microphone. This is the perfect place to sort all of that out because it provides every tool you could possibly need in a nice little place. Over here on the right hand side, we have something called Music Rebalance. And let's zoom in to the start here. You can see your typical waveform. I'll take the brightness down a bit. And if we look at Music Rebalance, you'll see there are four sliders, four faders, and vocals, bass, percussion, and other. And what this plugin allows you to do is, basically you can adjust the levels of certain elements after they've been mixed. Now, obviously this isn't something you should do if you could have just mixed something differently in the mixing stage. But in this scenario, there was no drumless version. Certainly nothing that the artist wanted to be bothered to do. So what this can let you do is, if we have a listen to this track.
I'm in the need of someone to confide, surrendering, 'cause I'm not as strong as you'd think, uncommonly.
So you can hear there, it's got a nice balance of bass, some drums, some vocals and guitars. If we preview this with everything at unity,
I'm in the need.
You can see nothing's changed. But if we continue and we adjust the vocal slider,
Someone to confide, surrendering,
vocals disappears. And it's back.
this desire that holds our eyes only today.
So it lets you adjust or solo,
And I cover up better than
and you can hear there it's really struggling to keep up.
yes, I cover up better than most. I'm surrendering, and I can't believe.
So obviously the fact that there's a lot of things happening means that the software and the algorithm that this plugin runs on are trying really hard to decipher what frequencies belong to which denomination of instrumentation. But when you're doing work like this and you don't have any other choice, it can often be a good tool to have, because not everything is dependent on having the best quality. Sometimes some imperfections is better than nothing at all. And in this case, let's go to the introduction and take out the percussion. So let's listen to it just one more time.
I'm in the need.
So you've got your four bits there. You've got your vocals, bass, drums, and your guitar. So let's take out the drums, the percussion altogether, and have a listen.
I'm in the need of someone to confide, surrendering, 'cause I'm not as strong as you'd think,
And so in the context where you're just providing a reference track that's mainly focused on one element, this was a perfect solution. And if we wanted to go the other way and have it just percussion, a really good amount of applications that this could cover. So let's go to a nice loud section over here. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, the vocals aren't quite loud enough. Well, you can increase the volume of them. Perhaps the bass isn't loud enough. Maybe the vocals are now too loud. This is primarily for if the mix isn't available or if you don't have the opportunity to fix this in the mix, because you don't want to be, especially at the mastering stage, if this is what you're using it for, you don't want to be messing about with balances that should have been done in the mixing stage, because as you can hear, there's a lot of artifacts that are created by this. It's not a perfect algorithm. From a point of reference, this is a fantastic plugin that can really help you in some sticky situations. Let's have another look at a different song that's a little bit more drums heavy. You can hear that that's a very busy mix, and if you look at the waveform, it's just a straight rectangle. There is nothing in between. It goes from mildly quiet to death-defyingly loud, so this is... So the waveform is quite unforgiving. So let's have a test and see how the algorithm handles this. So why don't we take the percussion, the drums out altogether. Not quite. Although it is taking out a lot of the frequencies that are kind of a bit more heavy, the articulation of the bass drum on top, it can't quite work out what's happening with. Why don't we solo others, which is typically guitars and keys, strings. So there should be no vocals, no bass, no drums. It's not bad. I would say that as the waveform and the spectrum gets busier and busier and busier, it becomes really hard for the algorithm that Izotope have implemented to pick out with perfect precision. Now, I would say though that this music rebalance plugin here, there are better qualities to it. I typically, for reference of listening to, just stick with good, because anything beyond that's an improvement once it's rendered out. We can try and render. Let's see if we can go for best. So let's see if we solo the percussion. Let's see how long it takes and if it even works in real time. Wow, that is not bad. And so that's what you render it with when you render it through. You select your areas and you click render, or you can also click separate. And what that does is it creates 4 files with each of the separated elements in that file isolated. So you've got a file with the vocals, a file with the bass, a file with the percussion, and a file with everything else. That best quality is insane. Let's have a listen to the good quality and see what the difference is like. Is there any vocals in here? Let's see how the best quality of the vocals does. Let's remove the vocals. Wow. Wow. That's impressive. Wow. So it sounds like the busier your spectrum, the easier it can be to bury things, especially the artifacts. The artifacts aren't so present. However, there's certainly chunks of time that you can hear a gap in the frequency response of the track, and you would go, well, something should be there, but nothing is now. And perhaps then the conclusion would be for removing things, there's maybe a claim to say that the busier sections are easier to bury different elements. But would it be that isolating things is easier in clean moments in terms of how busy the waveform is? I mean, it's not without its flaws, but all in all, this is a fantastic piece of software that Izotope has developed for RX. Anyway, I think that's all I've got today. I hope you found this interesting enough to watch. Thanks for watching. See you later.